Viewers, we are receiving many reports from the several days from Ethiopia, Amara region, Oromo region that fighting continues in some areas of the Amhara region. As residents of East and West Gojam told that fighting is taking place between the Ethiopian Federal Army and Fano militia, and Ethiopia announced on last week that major towns in Amhara had been liberated. Whereas in Kachinber Marsa, in northern Velo, Fano forces executed an ambush on Abiy's forces, resulting in the death of high-ranking military leaders and several special forces commandos. Whereas on the other hand, in Mera Gojam, top military officials and Amhara region officials escaped an assassination attempt after being ambushed. And in Gondar, Abiy's forces are engaging in a robbery and destruction of homes belonging to Fano forces. And in Dimbecha, in Gojam, Abiy's forces have taken control of the town, resulting in injuries on both sides. And in Jama and Digolo and Debre Tabor, intense confrontation continues between Fano forces and Abiy's forces, and Abiy is sending more reinforcements from Desi and Voldia to Jama and Digolo. So on the other hand, US Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Mike Hammer, will travel to Brussels where he will meet with European Union officials on Ethiopia and Sudan. He will discuss how the United States and European Union can support a peaceful resolution to ongoing violence in Ethiopia's Amhara and Oromo region, Tigray region through dialogue, and the need to protect civilians. US Ambassador Hammer and European Union officials will also discuss their common efforts to support the full implementation of the cessation of hostilities agreement for northern Ethiopia, which was signed in Pretoria, and to advance peace, justice, and accountability for the benefit of all Ethiopians. Viewers, following a recent spark of war between Abiy's forces and Fano in the Amhara region of Ethiopia, the regime declared a state of emergency in the region and committed unspeakable atrocities targeting civilians and their properties. Thus, Abiy's regime quickly broke a new record for its atrocity, crimes, and human rights abuses. The regime answered with tanks, artillery, airstrikes, and drone attacks on people who asked for freedom and survival. In several areas of the Amhara region, Abiy's troops fired upon the demonstrators and killed many civilians. Thus, all of what Abiy's regime did proved its state terrorism against civilians. His regime is committing terrorist acts similar to those of international terrorist organizations. Because incidences since 2018 clearly show that Abiy is a warmonger and terrorist against its people. And for example, a drone attack on civilians in the central town of Finote Silam, Debre Birhan, the bombing of heavy artillery in city centers across the region, and the shelling of civilians and their residences by Abiy regime's incident indicated state terrorism. And shockingly, whole families were killed by Abiy's troops via houses to houses searches, particularly in Behirdar, and the dead bodies were found after several days and buried in mass graves. It is a war crime and a violation of international law. Abiy's troops committed gross human rights abuses, mass killing, mass detention, looting, and state terrorism against civilians. Just to hide documentation of its gross human rights violation, the federal government blocked internet access in the Amhara region, violating the public's rights to freedom of expression and access to information. Also, media access to the Amhara region was blocked. Now he is committing top shelved atrocity crimes after he blocked the Amhara region from the rest of the world. Thus, Abiy's regime is highly abusing the state of emergency declared in the Amhara region. The federal government also admitted that it has detained ethnic Amhara people in informal detention centers in Addis Ababa, including schools. In the broader sense, ethnic Amhara means including Agu and Kimen minority groups. Thus, detaining and torturing people such as opposition party members, journalists, activists, critics, and writers, and holding them without court hearing for a long period is common, and this is what he is doing now. So the regime frequently commit terrorist actions and immediately blame others, and then promptly broadcast its false documentary drama. For example, after the assassination of officials mainly in the Amhara region, Abiy's regime disclosed the identity of the killer or killers within minutes without any police investigation. Then the regime ordered military action against certain groups. However, the public in turn immediately suspected that the killer of these officials was Abiy itself, to blame others and attack them. So this is why Abiy's regime is branded as a state terrorist. And Abiy's squad might commit widespread state-sponsored terrorist actions in several areas to separate Fano from the community by blaming these actions. However, the community is well aware that Fano is well disciplined, as there has been no single report indicating misbehavior by Fano since the start of the clashes, and the international community is kindly requested to put pressure on the state terrorist regime of Abiy to refrain from its catastrophic actions against civilians. And the Abiy regime must know that there is no solution by guns to political problems rather than political solutions through dialogue. You have to calm down, stop killing our people, and be accountable for the atrocities you have committed. So this report is by Ayub Tilhon Abira. So viewer, this is the latest update. For more updates, please subscribe channel. Thanks for watching.